Charlie's Bar?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but he's renovating this in Claire's. Oh, and Village of Short.
Hello, everybody, and thank you for coming to our Village of Wilburville Council meeting. It's a regular meeting on February 27th, 2024. We'd like to start this at 6:02 p.m. Roll call, please.
Schulte,
Here.
Schoenborg, here, Stanfield, here, Walter, here.
It's a building permit, I got the plans done and all that, and the current water sewer fees here are $10,750, so just shy of 11. And Brad and the council allowed me to do $7,500 on one to get things going. It hasn't been
one or
easy.
two?
Pardon me?
Did we do one or two?
One of them.
Just one?
You just did one, yep. And what I was gonna propose here is, obviously, I've been paying the taxes, and once you buy them at that amount, they're pretty high in carrying costs, so I'm gonna build them. Now I'm gonna start going, and I'm just proposing if you guys could help out and get the water sewer tap-ins down to 75 like we did on one. I would greatly appreciate it. I would commit to doing at least 3 homes. If I didn't build them, I'd give you the money anyway, put them against one. So I do know one thing, that I'm gonna get the one started and going and use it as an open house and a model so I can start going forward. And the roads need to be touched up more and then finished out, and then, we know it's supposed to go over to the city at some point, or the village, excuse me. So that was, that's what I was here to propose. If I could.
Thank you.
Anything else? Any questions? I guess
You're
I'll
on
sit
the
down.
agenda down below. We'll talk more, but you mentioned you might have you might have to leave early, you said, so I just wanted.
I appreciate that, yeah. I got a failing brother, so.
Okay,
and,
gotcha.
But I'm good. I'm gonna stay as long as.
Sandra, you live there on Black Oak Street. I mentioned it one time with the council that if you did 5 homes and then clean up and put that top coat on the actual street, because it's a bummer, isn't it?
Yes, it is,
It's a hump.
it
It's a
is
bummer.
really bad driving in there. I mean, you literally drive like this down the road because the blacktop's not even.
And all the houses you have in there, are they sold or are you renting one?
No, it was a land contract.
And that's going good?
Yeah, that's never missed a payment. She's been good.
Okay.
Elizabeth.
Yeah.
And, I will say one thing on the area too. I've hoped and asked people to try to, keep the boats out and not out and outside and all that, because neighborhoods are different than the country. I respect everybody in the country. My parents, they grew up on farms, but, in the neighborhood, it would sure help if we kept it a little bit sharper too. I drove through there tonight before I got here, and that one right when you come in off of Grand River is tough. So I'll get some asphalt in there and get it patched up. I don't come out here tons because I'm busier than heck where I'm going and what I'm doing, but I do agree with you is what I'm saying. That needs to be taken care of.
Who's that house?
The first house is, I don't remember the name now.
I don't know them either, but the basketball hoop that, I've asked them and knocked nicely.
We have teams that have been going through this count, all 9 counties. 9 counties were declared from down Monroe, south of Wayne, and Macomb, and then Oakland, coming over all the way to Kent and Ionia. So I'm handling the 3 counties that are sort of here, Ingham and Livingston and Eaton. We have teams in each of the counties that are going door to door in the areas that the emergency manager for the county indicated that they knew that there was some damage. Also, I met with Commissioner Schaefer, and this is her area, and she gave me 2 places to pass on to them. One was Noble Road area, they did that, and also Hamlin Park area, and they went over there and did that as well. So they're here in the county, and they'll be here for weeks if needed to go to any pockets that show up or they're told about. I'll be sending information through Mr. Hitchcock that is a distributions that he can give to each of you. There'll be information on the disaster recovery centers, any flyers that have to do with how survivors can register and the things they need to be aware of and look out for. One of the things is that generally, probably not as much here because it's happened so long ago that folks are not, in the same distraught stage that they would have been right at the time of the disaster. But a lot of times they'll get a denial letter, and that denial letter will set them off, because they know they had damage. Yet it's generally for something that they didn't provide, not because they really were denied, but they didn't to do with the farm operation. That's through the USDA, and they have to declare a separate disaster, which they have not done.
They just felt it wasn't, they felt they didn't have enough knowledge to explain to them what the next steps were.
For them, they can do the same thing as anyone else for their home. They can go to the recovery center, or they can go to the 1-800 number.
I'll give them the 800 number.
Okay,
All right.
they can do that.
And the 800,
And
800,
they should also tell them about the other damage. It might support, if others are doing that, support an idea to go to the USDA to say, look, there seem to be a large number of people in these counties that have farm damage.
And that 800 number was 321-3362?
Yes.
Okay,
336. Let me check that again. 3362, yes.
thank you. Okay,
All right, any other questions? Again, you can reach me through Mr. Hitchcock, and eventually, when he disperses everything, you'll probably all have my information. Thank you.
thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Good. Everybody good? Yes, sir, yeah.
Just a quick question, do you guys want something more informal for me or something, Brad, or?
Did you say something else? You're on the agenda for number 3, we're gonna talk about it.
Oh, okay,
Okay,
I'm sorry.
so if you want to scoop, we got you on the agenda.
I'm okay.
All right,
Wait, if I get a text from my,
gotcha.
I'm good to
We just
go.
want everybody to hear you. Okay, on our consent agenda, do we want to separate these 1 through 4 out, or did everybody get a chance to look at it to move forward?
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
Okay, roll call, please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Okay, do we have a police department here?
So Sean's gonna be here from when I was the last time, but.
You can go back now.
Probably didn't, so.
Okay. Scott Gould. Just checking in with you on any new news on, probably we'll go back and forth with you with Chris Corey, so.
Oh, okay. No, the only other thing that's kind of out of the ordinary is that Loverville is in receipt of a Michigan civil rights complaint out of Detroit for a citizen here in the village. That answer I have it prepared, ready to go. I'm gonna have it reviewed by council, and then the answer will be submitted back to the state tomorrow morning. That's the real update I have at the moment.
And that's to deal with Red Door.
Yep, FOIA request.
Gotcha. Okay. Anybody else from the council have questions for Scott Gould?
Is she still living over there?
No, she's out.
Is she?
That was Monday with Jim Ray, ordinance officer, and he mentioned that they had handed the keys to him.
Oh, okay.
So that did work. Any more on what we'll be talking about? The old Carter building, probably, right?
Nothing on that matter. We were tentatively scheduled for an oral argument on the 22nd of February. However, the court did not put us on the books, it didn't provide notice. I even checked the schedule that night and the morning of, and we were not on the books, so I'm not sure what we're at. I'm gonna have to call the courts again and ask them when's the next readily available date.
And then on Culver's land over here on Grammar Road, we got a rubber stamp, how you mentioned that from Mason, but just to receive the paperwork.
We should have everything in place. That was a resolution passed by the county commission on the 12th of December. But I can confirm and forward any correspondence or resolutions that reflect that matter that was approved. But I attended that meeting personally, and I watched the vote. It was amazing.
It was a go.
Yeah.
So when do you think Mr. Culver will get paperwork in the mail eventually? Or-
It should be, what I can do is I can reach out to the local tax assessor for Leroy Township and confirm that the status of that property has moved from Village 425 agreement property to back to Leroy agricultural.
Okay. Nothing more on Wausau and this board?
Nothing, the last meeting, we had here, at that time I confirmed that she was still a part of the Shiawassee County Probation Department. She has been assigned a new probation agent. Her employment status was unemployed at the moment. And although they didn't confirm it at the moment, it sounded like the probation department was going to pursue a show cause as to why she is not gainfully employed. So it's to keep them motivated to seek employment. That's the last I heard of it.
Thank you.
Do you mind if I ask a question about Grammar Road land before we move on? Brad, I think if it's officially gone, and the 425 is officially canceled, we should remove it from all maps of the village, right? So we can go ahead and do that on our end at McKenna, with the exception of the master plan. Because you would have to re-adopt the master plan with the maps changed, which you could do, but it would take a few months with noticing and all that. So, yeah, but we'll take it off the zoning maps, there's no confusion.
Thank you, Chris. Okay. Anybody else from the council, anything? Okay. Engineering reports, Noel and Boyer, OSG or PA Group, I talked with them. I mentioned it for Josh Rocky, we had a DDA meeting last night. Talked to Alan Boyer and Carl from Ingham County Drain Commission. They're working together to make sure we get our blacktop parking lot right there between the post office and what street's that? Summit, to get our parking lot going. So he said that they're 70% through that, so they just gotta go back and pick and choose. And then he said that he's gonna find the paperwork, they have all of it, it's done on our new blacktop industrial park driveway, which is Tech Drive. He said it's all done, I just gotta re-find it, and then he's gonna send it to her email, Jessica Cooch. And then when I talked to him, I got on phone and I texted him mine, because he mentioned that it got emailed, but you know, emails and me are not real cool either, but so, one way or another, it's done, so we can then send it to Gormley and then turn it into not a private, but turn it back to public.
Yeah, it will be converted over to the villages, the road and right away will be, transferred from DDA over to the village, dedicated to the village, and then obviously that helps you guys get Act 51 money, with that additional road.
Got it. So that should work, so we worked on that, okay. That's where I know with engineering reports. Any advocate reports? You just put that in there for you.
I was just putting it on there.
Okay. All right,
Tell you what, we're not.
new business, zoning and outdoor storage amendment discussion, Ms. Corey, McKenna Associates.
Yes, the council has in front of you guys a couple of zoning amendments, well, they're combined into one amendment, but it's really two topics. One is about existing houses in the commercial districts. What happens if they get turned into businesses? What is the process for doing that? What is the process turning back to residential? It adds clarity, ensures that the building code will be met, etc. The other one is regarding outdoor storage, which I don't have to go into detail with the issues we've had because we didn't have a good definition of outdoor storage in the past. So we have drafted a definition of outdoor storage, which would be the keeping in an unroofed, unwalled area of any goods, material, or equipment in generally the same place for more than 48 hours and not meeting the definition of outdoor display. Outdoor display being another new definition that's in these amendments, which would be the keeping in an unroofed, unwalled area of goods advertised for purchase by the general public and clearly designated as such for more than 48 hours. So this could be cars for sale or other things of that nature. They wouldn't be outdoor storage, they'd be outdoor display. Now, There'd be a rule associated with outdoor display, which is that you have to label the item as being for sale. That way we'll know, the regular Jim will know, when he goes around to do enforcement, whether an item is being stored or displayed. And display would be permitted generally in our commercial or industrial districts, and while storage would require approval from this body, so that it doesn't get out of hand. The public hearing on these amendments is scheduled for March 12th, notice for March 12th, but we wanted to have a discussion tonight because these are difficult topics that if we move in one direction, we kind of pull people, certain businesses in, move the other direction, then we kind of leave certain businesses out, and just want to have the council's thoughts on which way you want to go with this stuff. I would say to your planner that I'd recommend we do adopt some sort of definition of outdoor storage, because it has been a problem, we don't have one, and that it should be very specific. But what exactly goes into it is still sort of an open question. Some key questions that we should ask here. A, are you interested in having a distinction between storage and display, or are they the same thing? Another one, unroofed, unwalled, which means it's got a roof over it, you can store beneath it, even if it doesn't have walls. Is that okay? Or does it have to be within a walled area? 48 hours, is that an appropriate amount of time to determine something is storage? Should it be longer or shorter? And we also said generally in the same place. So just moving something around your site, not good enough. But if it's, hey, it was over here to be stored, now I moved it over here because now it's time for it to be taken into the building and processed slowly over time, maybe that's okay. There's always going to be a degree of subjectivity, and Jim, as your enforcement officer, is always going to have to make a call, but at least there's some guidance. But I would like the council's reaction to each sort of piece of this and whether you're comfortable with it.
Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of attaching a time frame to it. The thing that I always try to keep in mind with any type of ordinance is enforceability. And the fact that we only technically have code enforcement in the village limits once a week. I think it would be difficult in any case. I understand that Jim operates on a complaint basis, but, similar to, I think we've had issues with residents with the noxious weed violation, is that a lot of times a complaint is made and then the issue is resolved by the time the bureaucracy can take place for them to get a notice. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, why am I getting a notice after I already took care of it? So my concern with as it's written is enforceability of somebody calls and complains, where's the burden of proof that it was there for more than 48 hours if Jim wasn't here to see it personally?
Which is to say that maybe it should be a 7-day limit from one gym day to another gym day. If you see it on 2 consecutive days in the village, it's being stored.
Right.
There's some logic to that.
That's something to
And I was gonna bring up too about with Little Dusty's, how he spoke to us, and how sometimes by the time he goes and gets it, and people are coming by, and
Right.
I wanna be respectful of them.
I think they're right. I mean, how can you do a 2-day, 48-hour when?
You don't have the ability to. That's a good point. I think in a vacuum, 7 days seems like a lot to me for something to be out there, and you might get multiple complaints if people are concerned about something, but there's also really good logic to, Jim's here on Mondays. He sees it on a Monday, he sees it on the next Monday, that's a violation. He sees it on Monday and he's gone, not a violation.
Right.
Clear.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Okay with that?
Yeah.
So that could be up to 14 days. If
Well,
they put it out on a
if
Tuesday,
they put it on, yeah, 13, but yeah,
they'll see it the next Monday, and then it's gotta go another week.
that is true.
So,
And that is the problem with anything that has a time limit on it.
right.
We don't know when it started. We can only
But I
count
mean,
from when the
if
person
it
noticed.
was written no more than 13 days, that would cover Jim being there twice.
So like a 7-day, but no more than 13.
Something like that. Yeah, I mean, I suppose we could make it 13. Obviously, the thing
I
about
would keep
storage,
it
the
7
thing about
days.
storage is if you are approved to do it, you can do it indefinitely, forever, right? So it's like, what's your grace period before it's a problem if you're not approved?
Yeah, let's,
Maybe 13 days is sufficient, maybe that is
yeah,
fair, I don't
let's
know.
keep it at 7.
Yeah, just keep it, and
Keep it at
then
7.
it randomly could do that, but at least we stick with the 7.
And I've said this before, when we work on these ordinances, is frequently you draw the line here, you don't enforce till here, right? And like maybe with grass height, right? But like, it's, but we have to draw a line somewhere, so, 7 days works for me.
What's the procedure from that then? So 7 days, he sends a letter?
It depends on,
Is that what
yeah,
it
well, it
is?
depends on the, well, Jim usually follows up in person or with a phone call when he sees something, before he starts following up in writing. It depends on the zoning district, because if this is something in a residential district, it's just a violation and it needs to go. If it's something in, an industrial district, it can be approved, it just be approved by council. So Jim's enforcement would be different, he wouldn't say, you have to move it, say you have to get on the council agenda and get that approved as storage.
Okay. That makes sense, because just like what Sam had a valid point where, a lot of times, from what I hear is, Jim will send the letter and our post office, everything goes Grand Rapids, comes back, there's usually a 7 to 10 day before you even get the letter, so half time, people will get the letter and they're like, what is this about? I don't even know what this is about, because
Cause it's gone already.
it's already been gone, like, what is
I
this?
already cut the grass, no, that's understood.
Yeah.
Yeah, the other aspect obviously is why the outdoor display language is in there, which is, I'm selling this. This car is for sale, this is, that's why it's out here, so people can see it in case they wanna buy it, and that's why we draw the distinction. But again, that's for council to decide whether you want that distinction in there. And we can make it 7 days in both cases.
Yeah,
Go ahead. No, go ahead. I want to make sure, so I see that you want us to take action on this, like, this grade.
I don't actually, your public hearing's not till March,
Okay.
so not to your next meeting, but I do want your feedback and changes, like the 48 to 7 days.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. McCarthy, is there any extra you think? I still think we stay 7 days. I don't think it'll happen every time.
Right, I understand
I
that.
get the 50, but
Is
it's
this just commercial and industrial, or is this
No,
also
residence.
residential?
it's residents too, right, Chris?
Yeah, it would apply to everyone.
Everybody.
But if you're commercial or industrial, then you could get an approval to be a storage facility, and then you could move forward that way. If you're residential, it's simply, you're not supposed to be, storing goods, material, or equipment. Now, that is explicitly does not say vehicles.
Like a camper.
Yeah, a camper's a vehicle, right? That would be parking, that goes on your parking ordinance,
Okay.
it's different. And if it's a vehicle, an inoperable vehicle, then that is different, that's got its own ordinances too.
well,
So it is not about vehicles.
I read this as only applying to B, districts zoned as B1, M1, and HC.
Those are the districts where outdoor display would be allowed.
Right,
So it's not allowed in other districts.
so if you're an R1 residential, you can't put a car out on your front lawn with a giant for sale. I mean, I guess you could, but it wouldn't fall under.
You can do it for
this
less than 7 days.
Right.
That's kind of the rule, I guess, we're establishing.
I feel like this is kind of getting into the weeds a little bit, but is there any thought around, for an outdoor display, signage clearly labeling for sale greater than 6 square feet? My only concern is, are we gonna have a bunch of signs that are spray painted cardboard? And is that appropriate? I guess it abides by the rules, but is that then becoming unsightly as well? I don't know if it's getting too far into the weeds on, really cracking down.
We don't have a ton of rules about the material you can use for temporary signage,
Right,
intentionally.
right. And I don't wanna,
People be able to do that.
I wouldn't wanna make anything vague that says like appropriate signage, because that's open to interpretation.
You'd have to say it has to be made out of certain materials or something like that. But again, I'm a little concerned about that actually, because we intentionally, like I said, do not have a whole lot of rules about what temporary signage is supposed to be built of and made of, because it's temporary.
Right.
And because there's First Amendment issues there.
Yep.
So we wanna, yes, I think we probably would get a lot of hand-drawn cardboard for sale signs. Right?
And is that okay? I don't know. You know,
It's also, I would not necessarily anticipate that we're gonna get a whole lot more of this type of thing than we already have in the village.
Mhm.
I don't necessarily think that we're gonna, ooh, I can sell a car in my front yard.
Right.
It's just as long as it's there for less than a week. I don't think people are really gonna, it's only gonna come up if it comes up, is
Right.
kind of my thought. So I'm not sure we get like a proliferation of for sale signs all over the place just because.
If it's an issue, we deal with it then.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
Just something I thought about.
What about seasonal storage for residents?
What kind of storage are we thinking of? Boats and
Snowplows.
stuff like that? Snowplows? Is a vehicle?
Snowplows, back blade?
Oh, the actual blade, good point.
I mean, I
Well, let
store
me
my
think about
back
this, let
blade
me say this.
outside.
Right now, our rule in commercial and industrial is you're supposed to put it behind a fence. We could make a rule that read residential, that if it's behind a fence and you can't see it, it is not a violation. You can make that very clear.
And I think Jim mentioned, as long as it's in line with the front of the house. So if you
Yeah.
have a camper or a boat, and you put it so it's not in front of your home, but alongside your home, it's okay.
So if we say something like side or rear yard, behind a screening fence you can't see through, then it's okay. So in the front yard, no. And now we'll make those the residential rules.
But on the side yard, does it still have to be behind a fence?
That's what I would recommend.
Not
So
right
it's
now.
not right,
No.
well, not right now.
Not right now, just as long as it's not in front of your, front part of your front home,
Right, so
No, it's in the back next to the garage,
it's legal.
for now.
And it would still.
It should be because it's behind your
it
house.
should be,
It's,
But
it's
there'll be
out of
no
sight.
fence around it.
What if we change it to not visible from the road? So you put it behind your garage?
Yeah, no, that's not gonna fly
It's not
either.
gonna work for that, all right. Okay, so we're thinking residential, you can store stuff just behind the house or to the side, just not in the front yard.
I think there needs to be some sort of,
I mean, you can see my whole side yard from Howard Street.
That's, yeah, corner lots.
Yeah.
I think there needs to be some common sense applied to items, right? Because is a flower pot outdoor storage? I mean, somebody could make that argument if they really didn't like your flower planter. And I look at things like, you know, a snow plow for your truck, that to me is a reasonable thing to have in your driveway seasonally. I mean, we're a small municipality, not an HOA.
Yep.
And, you know, there needs to be a line somewhere.
I agree.
Didn't there, Jim Wright had something he dealt with here a few years ago, a trampoline that was in the front yard, the kids played on it, but what's the ruling with that? That's okay, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what the outcome of that was. The one complicating factor in front yards in the village here is you guys have very wide rights of way. And a lot of times people think something is their front yard and it's not, it's the village right of way. And then it's like, well, yeah, it's not a problem that's in your front yard, it's not in your front yard, it's actually in the road, technically. That is something you guys have had to deal with since the village was platted 150 years ago. The roads are really wide, even if they're not, even if the pavement's not wide, the actual road right of way is. So I don't remember the exact outcome of that, but that's the concern with front yards in the village usually, it's just like, they are smaller than people think they are.
I think the council all agrees, we'll just put the 7 days instead of 40 hours, and we go forward.
Okay, I might do a little reorganizing of this to make sure it's clear what the rules are in residential. And that, you know, you can store things in your backyard, side yard, don't need a permit. And maybe take out the, all right, this is getting into zoning weeds a little bit, but up till now, we have considered outdoor storage to be a land use. It's the use of your property. If you're doing outdoor storage, it's the thing you do with your property. And that has come up in the Rittman cases. I'm wondering, after this discussion, that if maybe we shouldn't be treating it that way. We treat it like you got stuff, and you put your stuff somewhere, and here's the rules about where you can put your stuff and how, and if you need village council approval to do it. So we pull it completely out of the land use section and make it its own section of zoning ordinances. Basically, here's what happens if you have stuff outside. You either storage or display, and depending on your zoning district, here's the rules. That would probably be the simplest and easiest thing to do at this point. and get us out of the whole, what kind of land use are you type situation. But I don't want to do that if it's going to cause us problems with these written situations.
Well, and I would also, I think it's a lot more cut and dry, black and white when it comes to industrial areas. I think we need to be very careful with wording on residential areas. You know, again, it seems like in the interpretation there could be very frivolous of what's outdoor storage. You know, flower pots or your outdoor patio set on your front porch. You can't store that outside, you got stuff out there. You know, it's,
Okay.
you can't come up with every possible iteration of what could fall under that, but that would be my one concern with taking that approach.
So like a list of things that don't count as outdoor
Well,
storage.
I mean, if you can see that something is actually in use, like your flower pot, if they're growing flowers in it, it's not being stored, it's being utilized.
Right.
Yes.
But
something is-
my point is,
not in
I've
use.
got
Yeah.
a 7-foot back blade that I take off my tractor and I set it right next to my driveway.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna be able to do that anymore when all this gets done.
Right, and that's,
Wow.
then that's the type of scenario where I feel like the list becomes exhaustive to try to create, you know, what is allowable there. And that's where I say that there needs to be some level of common sense applied here of what's allowable.
Yeah,
Definitely.
and I do think we want to make sure that you're able to keep your snowplow, so we'll
Seasonal,
keep working on
that,
that.
the word seasonal makes it
Yeah, it fit
like
right in.
more, yeah.
Yeah, you're
Well,
allowed
I
to
mean,
store
that would
seasonal items.
cover boats or
Yeah,
jet skis or whatever in the wintertime.
Right.
You know, snow removal equipment in the summertime,
use the word seasonal,
right?
Lawnmower,
seasonal item.
everybody good with that?
Yeah, I mean, seasonal items, people have seasonal items.
You could even put it down as personal
Yeah,
seasonal
there
items
you go.
instead of, you know, something that's for sale or,
There's definitely a difference between you're using these personal items versus abandoned.
Well, there is, and that's why I say there,
Reporting.
I'm still concerned that we're talking about ordinances which need to be very cut and dry.
Yep.
And even to say something is seasonal, then I would argue you need to define what a seasonal item is.
Can we somehow come up with something then about, I mean, like I said, there's a difference between you're utilizing it and abandoned, so.
I think that there's something to that if we say something that is in regular use, maybe that's the phrase, in regular use is not considered stored. And that we can, kind of a sub-bullet to that is something that will be in regular use seasonally. Snowplow, boat. It's like a boat in the winter, it's not in regular use now, but we understand in the summer it will be, right? A snowplow in summer is not in regular use now, we understand that it will be in the future. It's gonna take a little bit of wordsmithing to get where we can get.
I think the easiest solution here is no solution.
Mhm.
I think if we're talking about residential areas, there historically has not been an issue or a problem.
No.
Where there's been an issue is in these commercial districts and industrial, which I think is where we need to maintain our focus.
Okay.
And this is kind of spilled over into a residential area, and if it becomes a problem, I think the council can address it, but I think this is now becoming a government overreach issue.
Agreed.
Well, and you,
That's fair.
correct me if I'm wrong, but there's already an ordinance for junk.
There is
Yes.
ordinance for junk,
Junk,
and
stuff
like I
like
said,
that.
inoperable vehicles,
Right.
light, et cetera, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's kind of, like you said, is I think it was kind of starting to get a little bit on the HOA
Yeah.
realm.
Right.
And I honestly, the junk ordinance are in place. You have a bunch of junk in your yard, there's already an ordinance for that to.
Yeah, which is why.
We'll just add a cross-reference to the junk ordinance then.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is why, I mean, what you've proposed as a draft tonight, when I read it, it only applies to HC, B1, and M1, which
Yeah,
is really outside of residential for the most part. I mean, there's some residential units in those districts, but those are limited.
It's like if, and I can understand where you're coming from, and I respect that totally, because if you have somebody that is technically an artist, while we might see a cracked flower pot and say that is junk to that artist, no, they are creating something with that. and we need to respect them for that.
Yeah, it's a pretty slippery slope.
It is.
And that's their home.
Toilets in the flower pots.
Well,
Come on, that's fun.
I've seen,
People take
course, Josh.
broken down
I
bicycles.
laugh every time I see it.
And so that
It's
broken
like,
down
that's
bicycle, they're using
interesting.
that to put flowers, so we need to let a residential, that's their home.
Mhm.
So it's not really our right to say how they're using
Like I
it.
have to store my summer setting and chairs
Yeah,
at the back of my side porch because I have no other place to put it.
fair,
So you want to tell me I can't store that there now?
that's fair. No, I think that makes sense. I think if we simply say in this new section, this section does not apply in residential districts, instead see the junk and blight ordinances in inoperable vehicles,
Yeah.
which are already on the books and are not about everyday stuff, they're about, you have a rusting car in your backyard, right?
Right,
They're not
I agree,
about
yeah.
the stuff that you.
So then we're not messing with stuff
We're
that's
just, we're
already
just
there.
not changing,
We're
it's on the
just
books when it comes to residential, that makes a lot of sense to me. And then, yeah, we'll stick to those commercial and industrial districts,
Okay,
fair, sounds good to me.
okay.
Real quick on this definition, we have a definition of roof and walls, right?
The only roof, but I will confirm that we have additional.
Walls.
I mean,
It's not
I
just
just
plastic.
foresee the opportunity for somebody with an easy up canopy and a tarp and say,
Hey, these are walls
it's
in a,
walled and roofed.
yeah,
Yeah, they're tarps.
And you know that
permanent,
Exactly.
not temporary.
Yeah, well, roof, I'm pretty positive is in there, and make sure the walls is in there too.
Awesome.
Taking a couple of big tarps and just,
That has actually been discussed in one particular property owner's case, so, yeah. What if I put a big tarps?
and absolutely, that's why I said.
Then we call that canopy.
Yeah,
We did that.
yeah,
We did that over here.
we did that, yeah, because we know anything sells not to, but it has, that was, yes, brought up.
There you go. We good?
All right, yeah, we're good, I got, we'll be back at public hearing in March.
Awesome.
All right, so then, on new business, set public hearing for March 12th, 2024 for mobile station sign. Chris, Corey, have you seen the mobile station sign?
We do have their application, this will be a sign waiver, which has to come here because it's a billboard, it's too big to be a sign, it's only approvable by the village council.
Is that the one that's up on that steel thing up?
Yeah, it's gonna go up by the high, basically as
Isn't that
the
still
mobile
there?
station site, the pole is there,
The poles are there.
but basically the mobile sign was on the top of it, they
Right.
wanna have a big billboard on the top of it, and then the mobile sign below that.
Oh,
So that's what they're gonna come,
I've never seen one like that before.
yeah, it's,
Like get to be.
these guys, I wouldn't say that, except that these guys have applied in two different places where I do this role at the same time for the same thing, which is I'm on a business site and I'm gonna have a sign that advertises the business and it's gonna be little and then I'm gonna have a big 300 square foot billboard above it. So
Presumably, they would
It's gonna be a-
rent that out, or that's under their.
I don't
And
think they're gonna use the
advertising
same pole. It would be a billboard, so it'd be whoever rents the space.
Whatever
And
they
it's-
want.
And they're proposing to be digital.
I was
So
gonna say,
they're changing all the time.
it should be digital if we're gonna
Yeah.
do that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be digital, yeah, and it's not like you guys don't have billboards out there, but it's a digital billboard. And yeah, with a little mobile underneath, I believe.
That'd be really distracting getting off the exit right there.
I mean,
This is what we need to talk about. This is why these things come to the village council.
Isn't that the
Yeah.
intent of the billboard?
Huh?
Isn't that the
Distract.
intent of the billboard?
Well, I mean, we had a company that wanted to do a digital billboard on DDA property, and I'm guessing, I wouldn't doubt if it's the same
It might be
person.
literally the same person.
Yeah,
then they
'cause I
went
think
just
they
over to Nada's and
moving on.
got their permission.
Yeah,
there was only one way they wanted to do it, and that was their way.
yeah.
And you and I worked with them.
Well, and they're gonna argue, look, there's been a big overhead mobile sign there forever. For as long as they couldn't
That's
remember.
different
Yeah, they
than
want to
blocking
put this
of
big
it.
thing up. But yeah, it has to come here because it is too big, too tall. And
So
yeah,
this
you'll
hearing,
have your opportunities to tell them whether you want it that way or not, whether you wanna tell them they can't do the electronic stuff, it just has to be static, or whatever your preference is.
and they'll bring, pictures and stuff.
Yeah, and there'll be pictures and all that, and there's, you would hold a public hearing for it. It's not a variance, but,
Okay.
you guys used to do these more frequently, it's in the books that you guys have to approve signs that don't meet your ordinance.
All right, well, I recommended council here that we accept doing a public hearing March 12th, 2024 for the local station sign.
So moved.
Second.
So moved by Sam, second by Sandra,
Lon,
or Lon, I
Change
apologize.
your name again?
Roll call, please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg,
yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Okay, we're back to Whitney's Estates, so the council got the hearing to the public, but we have done it one other time where we did it $7,500 instead of $10,500, and that's for the sewer and water hookup for their house building, which is, I think, right on Black Oak Street. There now, it just be tap-in fees. So back in the day, the tap-in fees were $10,500, I think at one time they were $11,000, but we have the opportunity as council members to waive the fee to a smaller fee, knowing that he's gonna build a home, we'll have more people in our village that'll pay taxes.
I have one question though,
Yes,
for Tom. Did we actually give the people that purchased the properties that break off
Yes.
their?
Yes. It's a good question.
yes, Sandra, that's good. So what you're saying is, go ahead.
So we're giving him the break, but he's actually transferring it to the homeowner because that's quite a chunk of change.
I'd say it's a portion, I would say it's a portion, to help it be savvy to build it and keep it economical.
Because I know houses are.
I think your house had a discount, did you feel it?
No, we purchased without actually having to build anything. It was already built. so.
Well, there's two ways to look at it. There's the passing the discount on to the buyer, or he can then improve the property with that relief fund, but increase the value of the home by $4,000 elsewhere.
Right, and way back when we did, and Tom can vouch by Ron, we said, we'll do 5, and then you get them all built up and pretty, and then we do a little top cap on the blacktop. And then you sign the Black Oak Street over to the village, we'll keep it repaired and we'll keep it going. And we do that, and then, of course, economical times made it somewhat difficult, didn't work, but we'd still want, I appreciate working with him, he's been very honest in everything he does, so and maybe one more house, but maybe it could help with the blacktop, but.
Activity creates more.
Right.
And the interest rates aren't helping, but I'm gonna try to offer an incentive on that ground too.
Do you have any building permits at this point hold to what time you break ground if you?
No,
did?
but I'm gonna pull one next week for a nice one-story. I can even tell you a lot, 11.
Ryan Jones, you don't have a problem with that, with the tap-in fee, you know how the water and sewer works, and
I don't. To my knowledge, the taps are already there on the vacant lots. So you're basically covering what would ultimately be my inspection. Because on the hookup, I would be present. I'd have to okay it, make sure it meets all American Water Works protocol. I see no issue with
you
it.
use a 1 inch on the water or 3/4? What, Tom?
Oh,
Do you use 3/4 or 1 inch going into the home?
I think we're using 1 inch. I checked what I did on the last one.
I would recommend 1 inch.
Right.
Going off the curb, stop into the house, I would go with 1 inch SDR9, which is plastic pipe. That way we have no joints underground. Less chance for anything. Generally, you'll have no buildup inside the pipe, whether it's rust or phosphate from the drinking water itself. So I would go with 1 inch SDR9 pipe, which packs,
Now, does Shane, you do it, Shane?
Yep.
Does, or
Yep.
did?
Yep.
Yep, and I knew Shane.
Yep.
Worked with me on the other.
Okay, the council doesn't have any more questions, I could do a recommendation, see if this can help Mr. Tom James out. I recommend to the council in the village of Waterville that we allow Tom James, Whitney Estates, to build a home on his Black Oak Street Drive for his water line and sewer hookup to not exceed $7,500.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Deborah, moved by Sam, and one thing to put in there, for the year of 2024. Okay?
Good addition.
Say it again.
It's a good addition.
Good addition, that's correct. Okay. Any more discussion from the council?
There's just one house.
Just one house, right?
Well,
You're gonna do one, so you can come back again. I don't want to put you on the spot.
Well, no, I told you, too, I'd be open to doing 2, 3 for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel more confidence in some of the stuff going on,
Yep,
but.
we're under, a motion here, so we did discussion and go ahead, do roll call.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenborg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes,
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. And it's okay, Tom, but just, I mean, the economy's kind of rough, but you get one going, you get halfway through, you say, hey, I got somebody who wants another one, you come to us, we'll keep that.
I appreciate it greatly.
Okay?
I do. It's,
All right.
it's gonna help a lot.
All right,
It's
well, thank you. All right, Tom.
gonna leave in a little bit, thank you.
Okay, so new business number 4, special event.
Brad, you got anything else for me?
Nope, we didn't need to set, the public hearing's already set for the outdoor, that's
It's set, yeah. You said it previously and
what I thought.
then you had to change it, actually. Yes, it's all set. So we get 12 here, you're 12.
Thank you, Chris.
Have a great day, drive safe.
Hey, Chris, you did know that,
Yeah.
Monday was Jim Wright's birthday at 70.
70.
If you didn't know that, give him a call.
Yes.
Monday was.
I talked to him on Monday. Make him a fan.
There you go. All right. Number 4, special event permit, ML Chartier Community Cleanup Day.
Yeah, I'm sure here wants to, get a couple of bins. And I was looking at their permit, it looks like they're gonna have a firehouse, so I don't know, so they didn't really need to fill one out, but I guess it's a good way to let everybody know. They're gonna get a couple bins, and anybody in the village can bring like large garbage to them. It's gonna be like on Earth Day, I believe they decided. So it's just a community cleanup day.
So like dump stuff that they can't get rid of by themselves, they would take it there.
Dumpsters, where would dumpsters be?
I assumed it was walking around and picking up litter or something.
But that makes a lot more sense for them to take care of like larger items.
Right, now would they accept like washers, dryers, refrigerators?
That, I think they have to kind of look through more details themselves, because this was, I think, a last minute thought for them.
yeah,
Like,
like old
Mattress and
mattresses.
box
Okay.
spring.
Or hazardous waste like old paints and stuff.
It does say.
It says a
that
roll-off.
they're- Yeah, roll off, so I would imagine that.
And they'll be at the fire hall too, so.
I mean, I'm curious, I'm okay with it, but I'm just curious what it's about.
Yes, there's a, set up at fire hall, roll-offs, drums will be staged on plastic for disposal. They said they have hazard training, so
Yes,
I'm guessing
maybe
they'll
that
have
is for
random things like that.
hazardous materials that they're putting drums on.
How did they get
plastic.
something that you want to throw in the dumpster?
Thanks again, thanks again.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
That would be great, because I have a few things. that I-
I can totally help with that too.
So with that point, recommend to the council for a motion for ML Chartier to set up a couple environmental roll-off boxes to do a community cleanup day. And do we have the date?
Yep, it's
4/20.
4/20, 4/21.
What is it again?
4/20, 4/21.
So move.
Second,
At what time?
It starts at 8, set up at 7.
And it doesn't have a closing time, so.
okay.
Every day, I
AM until whenever.
We'll set up at 7 AM, event begins at 8 AM, and there's no end time.
Roll call, please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenborg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes,
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. And now we got a car wash too?
Yeah, they want to, shut down part of North Main from Grand River to Cherry and have a car wash to raise money for the FFA.
That's cool.
They're just doing
Yeah.
some tons of things for,
Yeah.
good job.
Very nice. I recommend to the council that we approve the special event permit for ML Chartier for Car Wash Day, which is,
August 3rd.
Are they gonna supply their own water?
I think they have a water truck, don't
That's what I'm I assume they have a water truck, but I didn't know if they needed tying to a hydrant.
is it the library or this way?
they? That way.
That way?
Yeah.
I'm sure we give them a hydrant if we need to.
Yeah.
Oh, no, they did change it in front of the library.
If it's in front of the library, they can use this one over here. It's gonna-
so
Okay, you
moved.
recommend it?
I recommend.
I second.
Okay, well, that's okay. Second by second.
Oh, just went over here.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes.
What was the date for that car wash?
August 3rd, bring your blade.
Bring your dirty car.
What was the date for the community cleanup?
420 and
421. And it starts at 8 a.m. And there's no end to it, and probably
Were they
goes
gonna
to the
allow
afternoon.
Hazardous, like paint cans and,
I think if you go there,
You
the
can
way
have-
this is read, like they would explain what they can or can't do, or.
okay.
I would assume
Or
they'll
if
put
you
out
could
a
just give them
flyer
a
or
call.
something.
Yeah.
And Jess, could you make sure that you
Water
get
bill?
some clarification on that and then maybe, get it in the newsletter?
Yeah.
And on Facebook.
Yes,
Yeah,
please,
there you go.
Josh.
Please.
Thank you, Josh.
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll put it on there. Hopefully, I'm sure ML Shark too will have a link, so we'll get that from them.
Yeah, I'll bother him, I'll email him tomorrow.
Yeah, just because I had thought about actually posting it with this meeting, and I was like, no, probably shouldn't, because one, if they cancel it or make a change, but two, it's like, everyone's gonna ask questions about if it's, you know.
What can we bring?
Yeah, what can we bring?
How big can
And I
it
think that
be?
would be better to just
Is there
share
a-
ML Shark Tears posts, and then that way they can answer those questions.
Yep. You got 2023, 2024 budget amendment.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of what you, the amendment approval.
Yeah, so, Caitlin and I have been going through and looking at like our spending for the year. And we've been doing reviews quarterly, just to make sure we're looking good, not going under, not going over. But recently, since we're getting to the end of the budget, we've started to kind of go in reclass, well, Caitlin has, going in reclassing and saying, okay, we haven't spent this type of money here, so we can move it here to cover this expense, but it has to stay inside of the GL codes. So that's in here. It has our explanations on why we used it. This is just the first one, the final one you'll see when we approve budget and have it more clear. But like Carrie from Plant Moran said, she said, it's a living, breathing document, and we have to do this occasionally to make sure we're kosher with the state.
So, like, the state likes you to estimate, like, what you think you're gonna spend in certain categories. So we do a rough estimate, and if you're within a percentage or that dollar amount, you're okay. But let's say we had the truck break more than it was supposed to, and we went over 10,000, then you have to do a budget amendment. So they frown upon that, and they wanna keep you on a budget, and then when they say frown, then they say, all right, Mr. Hitchcock, what are you gonna do to not have that happen again? So then you gotta come up with a plan, estimated maintenance, because the maintenance got high on the trucks. So you can prorate that for next year.
Okay.
So that's kind of what happens. So they want you to do a pretty good, I call it guessing, they don't like that word, but you do a pretty good estimate of what you
Guessing's a
think it's
good
gonna be.
Guesstimate.
Yeah, estimate.
It's a
And then when
guesstimate.
you jump over it, they're like, why'd you jump over it? And then you back up like we did with Scott Gould with the other problem we had, and we had more lawyer fees than we ever thought we would have because you had a discrepancy downstairs.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong, but when you get to the end of the year, what you submit as your final budget, you can't have any overages. You need to amend the budget to reflect what you actually spent,
Yes.
which is why we do this.
And then they say, well, why were you modifying these different categories?
So under or over.
Correct?
Yeah.
Under or over. And then you say, like, we don't use that anymore, you can get rid of that category, which we have, got rid of 3 of them, we don't even have to have it anymore. Am I reflecting it right, Mr. Scott Gould?
Sounds right to me.
Are you awake over there?
Hey, yes, go ahead, Jessica, some more. What?
We need to keep you close,
I know.
keep you in the game.
Feel way out
Change?
The
The biggest thing Caitlin wanted to change?
So there weren't really anything too crazy. The motor pool though was getting low, so we gotta,
So I don't know if this is the right time for this, but we still have you know, 5 years ago, we tried to order a new truck, I'm cynical, but so we got the new truck coming. Supposedly, sometime this spring, the Sprintliner is gonna show up, the single axle, and then it's gotta go to Truck and Trailer in Howell. We're gonna put more stuff on it than actually the truck costs. So we're looking at, $232,000 for this truck by the time it gets done in the fall. We've been recommending, and I also think it's a good idea, that we'll finance it instead of just writing a check for that, because it is brand new and it's something we can do, but.
Smart idea.
We'll all talk about it, and we still, I did sign the paperwork for Truck and Trailer, so you can get the stuff ordered. But if something catastrophic happened where we decided that our money had to go somewhere else, we're not bounded to it hardly. I mean, if we come into a hardship, where we just receive, take the truck. But
I mean, do we feel at this point, now that we have the new to us truck, that we still need a brand new one?
Well, the new truck is really spoiled, it's really nice, and if you get the additional one, you could get $10,000 to $13,000 out of both the other trucks, and they are not.
So then we can take that money, put it on the new, right?
Very true.
So we can put as
Still get
much
it.
as we want, since we're financing it, and pay it off sooner.
Sure.
I mean, I genuinely asked the question, in a 1 square mile town, do we need 2 big dump trucks?
The thing is these old ones are really, really old.
I get it, they're really
So
old.
you're
I-
starting to nickel and dime them.
Somebody raise their hand.
Right, I mean, I understand that during the past few snowstorms, you guys have dual sourced, so you're running two salt trucks, 2 plows at once, but historically, we've done it with one, and, that $230,000 would go a long way of, sure, get rid of both of these old trucks that are nickel and diming us, can we get by with 1 dump truck, and,
In the past, you always plowed with 2 trucks, salted with 1. So you were paying overtime fees because whoever was in the salt truck was staying longer than everybody else to salt the entire town. So,
That's very true.
Yeah.
The reflection of this is our hours be able to maintain 40 hours was pretty awesome, because
Yeah.
we had 70, 60 hours.
and with the newer truck that we have now being larger blade, just a newer truck, more power, we were able to clear town in a shorter period of time than
so you don't
what
need that second truck.
we do need the second truck because,
Salt.
and I don't want to say this on the speaker, but almost every time one of the old trucks goes out, it would not survive the whole route without having to come back in for a repair of some sort.
Well, and I can understand wanting to have an
And
additional salt spreader and plow, but could that be done with a
Then-
1-ton?
no,
Go ahead, Lon.
So I know it's expensive and spending money is really, it's hard. But if we finance it and we get rid of the 2 that are basically nickeling and diming us, getting that one, yes, payments aren't great, nobody wants to spend the money. But not only are we getting another one, which will have some kind of warranty, which is going to save on repair. It'll be a small one, but it'll save on repairs and stuff that the other 2 are nickel and diming us. It's also gonna cut the cost of overtime down. And we have to look at the guys who are going to not be exhausted from having all that overtime on long days. So it will save.
The other thing that I know what you're saying about a pickup, but these 2 dump trucks, they need to go because of the hydraulic brakes. The hydraulic brakes,
Yeah.
the hydraulic, I mean,
we have to have air brakes for one.
yeah, I mean, that's one of the things.
I'm ready to kick those things to the curb yesteryear.
But I've seen
And the
I've
longer
seen
we,
this, the
the longer we
time.
sit on them,
The less they're worth.
the less
too.
they're worth when we go to get rid of them.
Did I not just say I'm on board with getting rid of them?
You're good.
Well, I just I want to keep you overboard, I want to keep you on board
The
with
other
it,
thing
you
that the
know?
10-foot blade does, so I switched to the new one, because originally the Freightliner was gonna be an 8-foot blade, but them guys found out that the 10-foot blade, when they go down and back, because if you did the 8-foot down and back on some of our side streets, you had a cleanup row.
You had to make 2 passes in each direction to clean the whole road.
Mhm.
With the bigger truck, cause I ran it this year, I could make one pass in each direction, like going north on Summit Street. Then when I came back around to head back south on Summit Street, I would run my salter and I could salt the whole road with one pass.
Which we didn't know it until we actually got this one with a 10-foot blade, so we switched to new one for it.
Right.
And I think like when I helped with the vaculator with the leaves, like we only had one truck with a box in it where it was always a talk about, well, the chipper.
Yep.
It's got the chipper box in it, and then we gotta take that out to put the leaf blower in, because the other truck won't do. So we were doing some switching that I think.
And now we can avoid that. You and I,
And then to do the dump truck with the little salt, the little dump truck thing, these two will be able to collaborate. We measured the box the other day, so our boxes,
We
so
measured
you
everything.
slide it in, the latches hook on, so we got a little bit more of the same thing.
and if, I know you're on board already, but you run that risk if you're running one truck with one salter. If that breaks down, how do we salt town?
We're in the back of the pickup throwing it.
You know, I mean, you can only play with fire for so long before you get burned. And we were playing with fire, not having proper equipment, in my opinion. And now, we got pretty lucky, in my opinion, getting that Sterling that we bought.
I'm very, very happy.
You know, like I said, I ran it all winter, beautiful truck, you know. Fact of the matter is, that's still a 2006. You know, we gotta look at it like that as well.
Right.
Yes, it's been totally redone, but, you know, our old trucks are losing value every time we take them on the road. So,
And the chipper box and the leaf box will fit in both,
Yep.
even like the old trucks. But if you change to make a smaller one, you went back to one dump truck. So anyway, all right. So,
Josh?
Can I?
Josh will
oh,
ask.
yeah.
The only thing I was just, I mean, unless you guys actually do fully have the cash on hand, with financing is obviously the first step would be to find out if you guys are financeable, for one. And then find out what the terms are of that financing, because you don't want to have paid like 20% interest. I mean, obviously with the only reason I say this, because with the recent treasury issues that the village had, I don't know what the credit rating is for the village right now. I've never seen it either way, but that's obviously gonna factor into your decision. And then also we'll look at, obviously, if you can't do that, can you lease to own? Because that's what most, you know, I know NISA does it all the time, they lease stuff, and then they just buy it out after the lease. So, I mean, those are two of the factors that I would check with, get that in order so that you guys are ready for that. So you know what it is. I mean, financing would be a smarter choice, because, I mean, looking at your guys' books, I don't think you guys have $200,000 to put on a truck.
Say that again?
I don't think you guys have $200,000
We don't have $200,000 in our account.
extra for that motor pool or for that.
So he says there's not 200,000 budgetable for the amount of gross.
And the more
Yeah.
pool is not, and that's where it has to come out of.
And what did Caitlin say? Because I did have this conversation, and I also had it with D&K and Lansing, and it would be anywhere from, at that point, it was 6%, but I'm sure from when I ran into it at this point, it's 8%. So between 6 and 8, you go up to 72 months.
Yeah,
So what they would do is truck and trailer would get paid by D&K, whoever the finance would be out of D&K and Lansing that you would purchase the truck through, and then you would have the financing done there. Projected at $16,080.
you guys are with, who do you bank with right now?
Huntington.
Okay, because I would check with also Michigan State, Federal Credit Union, because they work with a lot of municipalities.
We do have some stuff to do that.
D&K mentioned that because we're a municipality, there's a different interest rate, and they already have the financing people that are there.
Okay.
There's 3 or 4 different that they pull from.
Yeah.
But I would reassure us that the council and the village.
I would always just check with different banks too, because, I mean, that's the car salesman 101, is they always want to handle the financing so they can get the points from it. Because I learned that, when I went and got my, last service truck, I got pre-approved from Case, and like, oh, we work with Case, like, we'll handle it. And I'm like, okay, cool. And I already got pre-approved through Case, knew what my dollar amount was, knew what my payment was gonna be, they give me the little payment sheet, and they're like, I was like, you're extending this 2 years, and my payment's the same, why is that? And come to find out, they're getting points on the interest. So they're actually making money off the top of that loan,
So
so,
they took the interest first.
yeah. Yeah, so, just, I don't know if that's how it would work with municipalities or that company, but it's always good to check.
So there's a good question. I don't want to get off the subject, but since we're completely on it, and the new truck is being ordered as it speaks for the Village of Waterville, and the stuff's being ordered to put on it, does anybody feel uncomfortable to keep going forward, hypothetically thinking that we're okay with the second truck coming, and then I will reinsure us that we got financing available to purchase? And all the time that we ordered the truck from D&K, I never made the mention that we're just gonna pay for it. I did mention that we do financing.
I'm not convinced that we need it, nor can we afford it at this moment. That's just, it's my opinion. I mean, I hear the arguments of Playing with Fire only having one truck, but if it's as good of a truck as a here, it's newer, it's been well maintained, we shouldn't have that issue. And with only $16,000 in the motor pool fund at the end of this year, even if we finance it, which I think it would be the way to go if any, I would like to give it a year or two after having just spent as much as we did on one truck to determine, do we really need it and can we really afford that second truck? That's just my opinion. Because it seems like $230,000 would be a lot to spend on a truck if it's a luxury. To say, oh yeah, well, we have, a backup to the truck we just bought, or, yeah, we can clean the whole town in 2 hours now, and, now we don't have enough work, or, I would say that. But you know what I'm saying, it's just,
It is.
back-to-back years buying brand-new dump trucks is a lot.
It is.
I am kind of with Josh when I look at our amended budget, I don't know where we're gonna come up with that type of money.
Well, it's a good thing our pickup's in good shape, so that kind of thing. And then we do have all our equipment we have now, other than the two that have hydraulic brakes, we're in pretty good shape, so.
I mean, the other thing that, I hate to bring up, but, we have two people who can drive those types of trucks right now, and if one of those people retires, then we're gonna have two trucks that only one person can drive.
I am that talented.
I will get the popcorn.
That's something else to consider, because then you just have an underutilized, very expensive asset.
Very true. Yeah, Brian.
Yeah, but it's not that much to get the endorsements on your license for air brake.
And Dan McCarthy lives in town, I'm sure he'll help us.
Nope, I gave up.
Do you think Max will get that endorsement?
I've been trying verbally, I think they got more and more every year, they get more where you can do the verbally talk of the getting it, but
I'm just saying.
I know. Okay, so back to 2023 and 2024 budget amended approval. So I honestly haven't had a lot of time to look at it myself personally, so I gotta lean on you guys a little bit on what you guys think. I will see what the breakdown is.
I mean, I don't have any issues with the way it was amended, because I know we have to do this to make sure that all our ducks are in a row.
To make the budget easier.
Right. I have more of an issue with just the general spending habits and how we got here to do this amendment, but, that's kind of feeds into my previous point about the dump truck.
Hey, that triggers a nerve for Scott Gould. How we're doing with our insurance kickback money.
To be quite frank, I haven't made any progress on it, I haven't had time to go after it. They know that we're pursuing it, but, I'll try to get a memo off to them very shortly.
And that's something where Plant Moran reassured us that was.
And Plant Moran did reach out to me, Eric Conforte did say that he wanted to be a part of help pushing this over to MML for them to pay out.
for his free time, correct?
Mhm.
I hope so.
Yeah,
Yeah, because Sam and I had conversations with both of us driving, with them on there saying, you guys are good.
mhm. I think the argument is still sound that, MML is miscategorizing our request in that we want payments on bonds for multiple years. We're not looking for the collective value of the years of the bonds into 1 year. And I think that's where the miscommunication is coming in, but I'll provide them a memo. They know what's coming. I told them I've got, court cases on point that speak to this bigger issue. I think they'll push them over. Worst case scenario, we'll file a lawsuit if the council so desires.
I mean, with Plant and Rhyme, no one's, that they said that they read it one side and the other and said we were, Sam and I both were on the phone and said we were protected.
Mhm.
Correct, Sam?
Oh, yeah, I heard it.
Okay, so then, again, I'm sorry I got off track, but, so I'm asking for the council on which way they want to do the 2023, 2024 budget amendment approval.
Well, my accounting brain understands it, so I don't have a problem with it.
So are you recommending
I
that?
want to do the,
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm gonna make a motion to approve the 2023-2024 budget amended as presented.
Second.
okay, sounds good, any discussion? None, roll call please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg,
yes,
Stanfield,
Yes,
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Okay, the set for 2024-2025 proposal budget hearing. I recommend the council leave this. And this will be
March 26th.
March
26th.
26th. That's what I recommended to the council.
So moved.
second.
So moved by Sam, second by Lana. Any discussion? We're gonna have that budget public hearing on March 26th. And roll call please.
Schulte,
Yes.
Schoenberg,
yes.
Stanfield,
Yes,
Walter,
Yes.
Hitchcock.
Yes. Okay, approval of our special, I see that, our
Planning
SEC meeting schedules.
Special planning.
It's just strategic planning.
Strategic.
Strategic, yeah.
Strategic.
Everybody like the dates? March 12th. Strategic planning committee.
Yeah, I don't, well, this-
And we just need to approve the community events, March 12th to December 10th.
Those are been approved, we'll approve the schedule.
The schedule.
just for, yeah,
It's just the schedule
Okay,
for what's going on in the
Sounds like-
village for the year.
Deborah, you want to do that for us?
Sure.
Motion to,
Motion to approve the 2024 special
strategic.
planning committee
Okay,
schedule.
okay.
I'll second.
Second by Sandra. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Good. Okay, we got Synthesis rug quote. I've never liked Synthesis, so you guys can do this. I always try to get rid of them. So they want 2 more rugs on top of
Well, the,
the.
Top
for the-
one. yeah, that's not in the quote.
I know it's not.
But
I've seen that. So
Have we
right now,
contacted any other?
I have actually, because last time I brought it to council, everybody else was still more expensive than us.
and they smell, because the other companies, they actually go to a lot more commercial. Synthesis rugs don't smell like they went from a shop. I don't know if they keep them separate for the uses that we do, but I've had rugs before with my type of business where they come smell like diesel fuel.
Are you a business that makes them smell like diesel fuel?
I do. I'm guilty. I ruin them. I don't know what it would be for the other 2, so what's the total year? They don't have that broken down either.
So currently a month, we spend $127 for the expense. And we've actually gone to every other week. We could even, like Josh and I talked about, like, go once a month even if we need to. to kind of bring the cost of it down, but they're looking at getting an agreement done with us, so we can sign a contract. So we're talking about hiding, or not hiding, like, well, I guess hiding stains on the blue rugs we got, so we're gonna want to go to black rugs.
Okay.
The
But
problem is if you go every month though, and we get heavy rains and there's mud,
Yeah.
should be every 2 weeks.
So every 2 weeks has been working out pretty well, and it's got the mill down.
What's the contract, 1 year?
It is 1 year, oh, can we double check?
I don't see it.
I think it was something else.
If we were to add carpets for the sheriff's department, is that a cost we would just absorb, or would we charge the sheriff department for?
Well, saying that, Mr. Ryan Jones, you did a great job doing the floor in the sheriff's department.
Thank you. Not done yet, almost done. I just gotta finish the trim,
You
but
gotta do the trim around the sides of it.
Yeah.
He put a new floor in down there at the sheriff's department.
Oh, thank you, very nice.
And I really think that the village of Orville paid for it. I don't think the sheriff did, so you're not gonna get the rugs from the sheriff's department either.
no.
We're lucky to get another deputy from the sheriff.
Did you paint too?
No, Chris did that.
Oh, Chris did it, didn't it? Looked nice, smelled good in there.
Chris painted.
I was gonna say, the contract did say, I don't know about rugs, but there was, in the sheriff's contract, it did allow a deduction for, I know internet and telephone were two of them that it talked about, that obviously the village was able to deduct back for those services.
Check into that.
You don't, do you?
Going through that?
We talked about that though before, I'd never seen
It's
that.
probably a lot easier for them to deduct that versus having a separate bill
Yeah.
for utilities or other expenses.
Right, so eat the cost of
Because
drugs.
I mean, that's obviously my gripe is we already have a very expensive contract and now we're gonna give them all these other things too.
There you go. Well, you can see if they're, I don't know, with that said, she can reach out to the person at the Ingham County Sheriff's Office on if they wanna contribute to the rugs or if that would be us.
So we can table this for now, and I can also find out the cost difference adding the three rugs if we did do it.
Okay.
How much was that contract before
The Centos one?
for the carpet?
Actually, we haven't had a contract for a few years now.
Right, but if we're gonna give them the rugs, there has to be a contract with the supplier to come in every 2 weeks, every 4 weeks to replace them out, to send them out to get them washed.
We went a couple years without no contract, now they wanna do a year contract, but what is it per month right now you're paying?
127.
$127 a month, no contract. Okay. Do they have that right? Yeah. So I don't see any discount, they just want us to sign a year lease, which we haven't for a couple of years. I wouldn't sign it. Now, what about the rugs that are, where our actual carpet's cut out? If we got a new carpet, then we'll go away too, right?
For which one?
Like when you go into the girls' bathroom, or we cut that out, make that bathroom.
Yeah, the, we put our.
Oh, we bought them, though, them are ours. Okay, scratch that.
Yeah, that's
So-
totally right.
What do you guys want us to accept this year contract with Cintas or have her check?
Let's table it
Table it?
and have her check.
Okay.
And we can
meeting.
bring it up at the next meeting.
Alright.
Okay.
And get the, what would it be extra so this is request.
Right.
That's brutal.
What you got, Ryan?
Yeah, Ryan's got something.
Okay,
Jessica, on the rental agreement, if you look at the fine print below that table, it says that it's a term of 60 months.
Oh,
5
it
years.
does actually.
Really?
That's what
The
it,
very
In your
first sentence.
packet, yeah.
I can, I'll negotiate that.
So we might want to
Only to do
watch.
one.
The fine print.
Yeah, that's a huge lock-in for that. Is it, do they have increases from?
It doesn't say.
So I see this, willing to do 1 year? If I want to talk to them.
It's not filled out, right? Yeah.
That's the problem.
So what if we just say we don't want a contract?
Let's keep doing what they're doing.
Just month to month or as needed.
I could say keep.
I mean, why do we wanna, like, if
What's the
they're
benefit?
gonna wanna keep our business?
What's the benefit of contract?
Yeah,
Right.
we're not
Makes sense.
getting
Why
any
not?
discount.
Where'd you see that?
It's,
Was it here?
no, it's right on this one,
Page before that.
the very first sentence, right underneath the, it says 60 months.
I seen 60, but I was thinking like, I thought that was like for getting right there with 60 days, but not months, but okay. Yeah, no.
Yeah, no.
I mean, it's a good fundamental question, which is, what's wrong with what we're gonna have?
Exactly.
Just ask it.
So,
Let's just.
I'm
do
just
much
gonna
of
say
it.
then,
Keep going like we are.
we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
If they don't like it,
We got that?
And then just check to see what it would cost to add the rugs for the
Yeah.
police department, just to help protect their high traffic areas.
Yeah, Chris wants one in front of the sink there, and then one where their locker room.
Oh.
You think?
what, they wanna
somewhere
stand on
else?
a rug when they change?
Doesn't Target have something?
Well,
What about a
we own,
washable rug?
since technically we own the building,
Yeah, protect the stuff that is dead on.
so I think we need to, and I told Chris this when I was doing the flooring, that I need to look into like a hard plastic cover where his office chair
Oh, his chair
holds.
goes.
Oh, yeah,
Because that's
Yeah.
what damaged the floor.
Yeah.
yeah, rolling on the floor all the
Yep.
time.
And that's what damaged the current floor that was in there.
I just
When
don't
it
want
passed over,
to,
seems cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna check Amazon or something, you know,
Well,
whatever.
Jessica has,
I'll just get one on Quill
Or
tomorrow.
Quill, yeah. I needed to measure.
Check
I wanted to
Amazon.
verify that he was gonna keep
Chances
the
are we're
office
gonna get it
configuration
for
the same.
the price of
I was just
Quill.
gonna measure so we know how big a pad to get, and then, you know, we'll price
Just
it
make
out.
sure you don't got the one that's got the bumps for the carpet.
Right. You know,
As I say, over the years, we've used just
Why
rugs for under
We get a hold of the sheriff's
Because it
department,
makes, especially
find
with
out
your feet, those
who
ones
they
get
use.
Oh,
destroyed in a year.
Their buildings in Lansing,
okay.
and just have them add this to their bill.
There you go.
Our hands are clean.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah, check that way too. Say, hey, you guys are asking us, do you have somebody that wants to split by here and do it, or?
Good point.
Or if they want them, they can bring them. and-
I
Yeah,
think Brian Jones, so,
We just replaced the floor, let's protect our floor.
Yeah,
but I think is maybe what drop, like, if we get the plastic for his chair, which is $20, it's not very much, and then over where the sink area is, you just get a rug from Target or Walmart.
Get a washable rug.
Yeah, and they probably,
Exactly.
it's not gonna get the heavy traffic that we do.
No,
No, I mean, yeah, one,
It's just
you know, one
the two
person at a
sheriffs
time
that
out
are,
there.
people in there.
Yeah,
So I think it's council, we just get a plastic thing from Quill, and then whoever wants to go to Walmart, get one of them pink rugs to put in front of the sink.
Whose rugs are in the lobby, or in the, like, front entrance? Is it, well, no, is that the library, or is that actually the villages?
No, I don't remember. I think the library actually pays for those ones.
Okay.
I think, if you at Costco or Sam sells a brand that's similar to the washable rug, I bought one, it's really nice, I just throw it in my washing machine and it, you know, comes out really nice, it looks brand new.
So we need to send it home
Yeah, I've
Chris
got a
once a
couple
week.
of them.
I mean,
Hey, no, wait.
I have
That's
a washer and dryer at the
Yeah,
shop.
yeah, Max knows how to do
Well, look
laundry.
at that, we can
Because
send Max once,
we wash
once a
our-
week or once
We
every 2
wash a lot of
weeks.
our work clothes there, you know,
Right,
shop towels
because
and
you got-
rags.
It makes sense, it's cute.
Yeah, but shame with the carpets, you cannot put them in the dryer, they lose that rubber backing, it freezes.
Oh, no, we air dry our stuff. We're very gentle.
You're really
Okay, so
I set myself
we
up.
table that, and,
Yeah, I know.
I guess we just wanna acknowledge that the office was closed July 5th.
Which is a Monday,
Do we have to do it?
Friday.
It's a Friday.
It's a Friday.
the fourth is Thursday.
That's
Is the
fine.
DPW going, the office and DPW?
Yeah, that's a good
both
question.
closed?
That's why I put a question mark.
Well, it makes sense, it's the day after 4th of July, I don't, do we,
I mean, we're covered. I mean, I'm not going anywhere to my knowledge, so I mean, we're covered.
Would there somebody be on call though?
Me.
Yeah.
and then.
You're somebody.
I'm somebody, apparently. I mean,
Like Michigan Waterworks or the other company too, we can put their numbers there too.
I see no issue with it.
It'd be like only having one dump truck.
No problem.
That was good, Brad.
So I recommend to the council that we recognize July 5th for 2024
Yeah, motion to approve closing of the village office for July 5th, 2020.
And DPW,
And the DPW.
And the DPW.
just so I can make sure I relay it to
I'll
Greg and
second
Max,
that.
so.
No, so
Yes,
that
I
paid
was
holiday
like, do
then.
I second it? Do I, someone come
Yeah.
back?
Seconded by
Comes out of the
Sandra.
DDA budget.
Make
Any questions? Huh?
What's it say?
I said that you probably should differentiate if it's a paid holiday or if it's just
A
a.
paid holiday?
Yeah.
Every day's a paid holiday.
I just figured, I mean, Scott might say something about
During
that.
the discussion, it's a.
Okay, wait, July 4th is a paid holiday, not
It's still
July 5th,
discussion, it's still discussion though.
you know?
We can, but it's still a discussion. We didn't roll call yet, so it's still a discussion.
Yeah, well, and I think that's why it's at the council, and maybe if the office is on board with it being closed as a non-paid holiday because it's more convenient for vacation time, I
I'm
don't think,
okay.
I don't think it should be
You
a
know,
paid holiday.
No,
If you want to use a personal day or a vacation day or something like that to have that 4-day weekend,
but then it's not, you don't have to be here to work, so.
right.
Well, if you say as the council in the village that we're recognizing you don't have to work on the 5th, and so you're telling me that if they want to work on the 5th, they work on the 5th, or they have to take a vacation day to use it?
No, it's,
You have to get paid for it, Scott.
Can't goes off the paper, Scott.
July 4th is on a Thursday.
Well,
If we close the village down for Friday the 5th, legally, do we have to pay for that? Or can the employees?
it's in the personal manual.
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's not like a state law issue, it's just gonna be a personal, it's gonna be in the personnel manual, that's what I'm trying to pull up right here, so.
Yeah.
The following dates shall be recognized and paid as holidays for full-time employees who have completed their probationary period.
The day after a holiday.
Independence Day, say when a holiday falls on a Saturday, preceding Friday will be taken as a holiday. When a holiday falls on a Sunday, the following Monday will be taken as a holiday. Employees who are eligible for holiday pay must also work their scheduled hours the day before the day after the holiday, or have an excused absence in order to receive the pay.
So they gotta work the day before, which is Wednesday, and they have to work Friday
Or take time off
to
approved.
be able to get holiday pay for the 4th.
So effectively, if I understand the way the conversation would go, would be if the village is approving to allow for Friday to be a non-work day, effectively, a person would have to work the day before.
And the Monday.
Well, I don't know, I don't even know about that. I would say the day before the holiday, they'd get their holiday pay on Thursday, and they would not have to report on Friday with this motion and still receive the holiday pay for Thursday.
Right.
But if that Friday is not automatically paid, they would have to either take,
A personal
Personal
day or vacation day
but they
or,
wouldn't be obligated to work Wednesday, Friday.
correct. Is that fair?
Well, it's in the personal manual, you just read them.
So-
You've already approved.
DPW side, I'll get to you.
Yeah.
As far as the office is concerned, it's the two of you down there.
Yeah.
I think if one of you wants to work Friday, we shouldn't restrict you from doing that, but if you both want to take a holiday, take a paid vacation day off, and then the office has to be closed because you're both off, I think we should allow that to happen. Because normally we would
With
say,
no
well, you
penalty.
can't both take vacation at the same time.
Right.
That's pretty much what this whole thing came about.
Right. And I would say the same with the DPW is, if Max and Greg and you don't want to use a vacation day and want to work that Friday, shouldn't stop you. But if all three of them want to use a vacation day and the DPW won't be here that
So
Friday,
you'll have
we
a
should allow
4-day
it.
weekend.
So that would be Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Well,
But you would be on call. if
I
you
would,
did.
I would still be on call that
Okay.
Friday, just like I am every other day, 7 days a week.
Okay,
You know, unless there's special arrangements made, you know, where, you know, I'm gonna be up north or something, you know.
mhm.
But as it stands right now with the current situation we're in, it's me 7 days a week, and that's a role that
and
kind
then
of
the
accepted.
backup plan.
I've accepted with Brad right now to
Okay.
get us through the situation we're in,
Okay,
so.
okay.
Okay, so Sam, do we don't even have to put it in a motion. It's in the personal manual, so.
Well, the personal manual says that a person has to work the day before and the day after to receive their holiday pay. And effectively, as I understood the motion, it would be,
Is what to recognize.
we could take the Friday off. And so a person could work Wednesday, have Thursday off, the holiday, not work Friday, and still receive their holiday pay. That's how I understood the motion.
Probably be better just to defeat the motion, and then, I don't even think it needs a motion, does it?
It does, because if you read it out of the manual, if they don't work that Friday, they're not getting paid for Thursday.
Right.
Right, but can't the village president excuse?
No, it's
No.
gotta be motion.
Okay.
But doesn't the manual say that if the day off is pre-excused,
Yeah.
you'll still
Yeah,
get paid?
it's excused, it's just you would have to use it as a
Correct.
non-paying day
Yeah.
or as a
So
vacation
if
day.
Jessica
or a
and Tammy
personal
both
day.
want the day off,
Right,
they approach Brad, you know, the week before, 2 weeks before and say, hey, we want this day off. Brad can approve it.
And if he approves it, it's an excuse and they still get their holiday
And
pay.
so they'd still get their holiday pay.
Well, the personnel manual covers it.
Yeah,
So we do have.
Is personal days considered work days? Because I know with the state it wasn't. We could not take sick time or vacation time either before or after unless it was pre-approved.
Well, that's what we're saying.
That's the
why
catch-all,
the
pre-approved.
motion is
But the
here.
thing is, normally the village office is open that day. So is someone going to still be here? Or are you just gonna say, you know, screw the public and we're just gonna close for 4 days?
Most businesses are closed that Friday.
And
Redo explain what you had on the motion again, Deborah. You had a motion,
I did.
and you did a second, and then, go ahead, what was the motion?
Motion to approve closing the village office and DPW July 5th, that Friday.
We got a second, we got the
Sandra
discussion.
seconded.
Alright,
That was,
so,
you said, yeah, it'd be easier to defeat.
So I mean, you're not complicating the personnel policy, you're effectively blessing the closure of the operation of the city hall, village hall, and the DPW
For one day,
for 1 day.
for one
You're
day.
not, there's no real implication as the employees. You're just saying, look, as a group, we're saying it's okay to be shut down Friday.
Correct.
Okay, so there's not a liability issue if someone does come into work when the village council has directed them not to work for it to be closed? Isn't that an insurance liability issue?
Insurance liability,
Yeah,
as far as like a workers' comp,
right. I mean, technically you're here when you're not supposed to be directed to be here.
I mean, I guess,
About the only one that would be Ryan,
Yeah,
but he's already on call 24/7.
Yeah.
So,
right, but we don't know about like Max and Greg, if they're gonna take it off or if they just say they don't wanna use PT time.
well, if they take it off and I have to call them in,
Right,
we're covered still.
yeah,
Because that's part of our agreement working down there is, you know,
okay. I just know from the private side, like, for my guys, if I'm, you know, if we're not technically open and one of my guys comes into the office and falls down and gets hurt, it's on my liability. Like the workers' comp's already said, we won't cover you, and even my building insurance said they won't cover it either. But I can't have anyone in the building that's not on the clock.
but like the DPW workers, even on our paid, like on July 4th, it's a closed holiday.
Yeah, but you're so,
I can still come to work that day.
right, yeah.
I don't want to.
roll call,
but-
let's do a roll call.
Schulte,
No,
Schoenberg,
Yes.
Stanfield,
Yes.
Walter,
yes.
Hitchcock.
No. So 3 out of 2, still passed. Okay. Now, I'm gonna let Deborah take this next one, number 11, elevator pump.
Okay,
Just because you got the guy that helped us do our maintenance, so I didn't want to double step, so we got the elevator guy that you helped us get, right?
right.
Okay, so I just gonna use your knowledge on this.
Okay, well, he, from my understanding, does not do this, but he gave got Jessica in contact with the person that does.
So at this time, we got the ring bell ringer, right? Like, hey, I'm in here, I'm stuck. That's what's there now?
Wireless doorbell, that's what it is in effect.
What is it?
It's a wireless doorbell.
Oh,
There's a button in the elevator.
okay.
If somebody pushes it, it rings in the offices and then,
So did you hear this, that we have to have a telephone in that elevator? Trying to straighten this out, but back in John Wayne and Tonto the Lone Ranger. I think it's.
So is that
Walkie-talkie would work.
Yeah,
I
walkie-talkie.
mean,
is that something that somebody found or said?
No, so
How-
did you get the
how
full
did it come
bill? They
about?
come and inspect it.
I did not get any.
Oh, you didn't get anything? All right, so Jessica Phillips said.
So the state came in to do the inspection for the elevator. They do this every year. There's two of like the head guys and then the trainee. So they did write us up for not having a phone in the elevator. When they told us last time that it was okay to have a push button alarm. So now we gotta do that. Then we gotta put cages on the lights in the elevator room and in the elevator pit.
that's what those lights are for then.
Yeah.
I was trying to figure out what those lights were ordered for.
Oh,
And
yeah, heads up.
I was never informed of that. I knew they were sitting there, but
Yeah.
So
what's that?
can we
And the
just put
pit
a
is
cordless
dirty.
one in there?
Well, Josh is
Let's
gonna
talk
help
to our
me,
housekeeper.
because they use a lot more terms that you know.
Yeah, yeah, we asked them a couple questions. They're gonna do a cellular connection, but they have to have a hardwired, telecom connection in order to do that, to provide basically power to it. There is already a telephone line in there. I was actually gonna, track it down to see if it's still active and where it's at. And because that will help too, because the thing I didn't like about their quote is they're very open-ended. They say they'll go 50 to 75 feet, which is about give or take there. But it says if they have complications or it creates more work, the bill will go up, but without any justification of that. I mean, in knowing this building, because I've tried to get wires places in this building, everything is complicated because it's a addition on addition on addition on addition. So I would just be concerned with that of all of a sudden they come back with $1,500 bill for something that probably could done cheap, or like I said, that existing wire might still actually work. It's just finding out where it goes. So, but you know, the prices that they are coming with is not really that bad. I mean, $40 a month for the service is pretty normal. I mean, it kind of sucks that it's literally just for a phone.
So my question is,
Go ahead, Sam.
sorry, so how long have we had this elevator and they're only just now saying that we have to have a phone in
I can
there?
remember.
30 years, 30?
So where is the piece of paperwork that says that they changed the requirements?
Every year?
Did they give you a corrective action? Like,
Yeah, I can send
how
it
long you
out.
have till you have to have it completed?
I'll send it out to you guys tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah,
Welcome to dealing with the state of Michigan.
yeah, send it to me, because that'd be interesting too, because, you know, depending on how long they want you to, you know, do it, then, you know, obviously we either have to move quick, or, you know, if it's like, well, till the next inspection cycle.
Yeah.
that's-
Have you ever
Does
been in
Eric
it?
even
You
see
ever-
it?
No,
You
Huh?
haven't been in
no, I have not been in the elevator.
It's a trip.
it? You and I.
There you go, field trip after the meeting, everyone crawl in there.
You're gonna want to
Let's check the operation.
Didn't like
Like,
it.
for the helmet, I don't know.
combine, so they don't like our elevator, it's way up. They're trying to keep it in compliance. They don't
Yeah.
like it. It's got the
So they're
accordion
gonna-
doors.
They're gonna just complain about it.
Just barely can,
He
yeah.
was even annoyed
just
about
barely
this.
can-
Yeah, I'll
We'll
bet.
just get one of
Yeah,
those.
sure. There's gotta be a new regulation this year.
Yeah, they go, you're gonna have to come in and back it up.
So what about a hotel elevator? Does it have a phone system in that?
Yeah.
Most do.
Yeah.
I
The
never
ones I was
They have
looking at,
the
they're,
Button thing, right?
yeah, because most of them have, and I was gonna measure that out, because we can get it through our suppliers.
Right.
And basically, you just screw it into the hole that's already there, and it's just a push
Were there
button.
anything,
It says, you know, for help, push this
many
button,
things that
and then you can
were,
pre-program it to
Like,
call 911, it can call the office, it can call like, I think up to 5 numbers,
Like Eric has to come back.
you know, until someone answers it.
But that doesn't have a monthly charge on it, right?
You'd still have a phone line charge.
Okay, okay.
So, I mean,
And
it's
like the amount.
negligible. I mean, for us to do it and provide like a VoIP
He's
hotline
been
for
stuck with
that,
all his
it's
other
probably
jobs.
like $30 a month, so like 40 is not much
Right
different.
around here.
The permitting fee I thought was kind of a little weird. I would like to know more about that too. She got me in touch with them, so I was gonna ask about that, cause the permit fee is like $550. And that seems like a lot for a phone that's already was there at one point that now is gone. I don't understand what the permitting is. So, yeah, I think
It's ours.
Yeah, I think it's the state of Michigan. But I don't know why they would need it, because again, the phone was there, it's no longer there. So I mean, normally for like us, we'd normally just basically screw a new one in, plug the phone line into it, and it would work. I mean, it's a very simple thing, as long as that telephone line actually works.
So what would we do on
It
that?
probably wasn't that.
You don't have to vote anything right now, it's more of
It's just pop line.
a.
Update, yeah, so I would imagine the council probably feels the same way, if Josh Rocky can come up with it, and it's $40 a month. Between now and the next time we have a meeting or something, just go forward and get the phone with any other.
Yeah, we need that taken
If
care
we
of.
have to, then we have to.
Yeah, I'll get it, so we know which way to go with it, and then, you know, like I said, their price isn't bad.
Once we get a phone, we have a working phone.
Okay.
we'll be good.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Eric's gonna respond to them once everything's done.
Gotta be compliant.
I can't imagine if this is the new rule, all his other jobs, that he does do this, so.
I think it's mostly just the two that were training that guy had to,
I'm sure.
they had to like.
The guy never
go
seen an
by-
elevator like that.
Right.
Because I would suggest too, is if the line does have to be, ran, I would personally like us to do it, but I'd also like to run an extra line, because then you could actually put a camera inside that
Oh.
elevator, which would be extremely helpful as well. Because then if you have kids messing around in there, or, you know, if someone is stuck, you actually know what's going on in there, and you're not being like, oh, like, is someone in there or not? Like, we're not hearing anyone yelling and no one's pushing the button, but it's stuck, and, you know, it kind of gives you a little idea, you know, look at it and be like, okay, someone is in there.
Yep. All right, so that concludes all the stuff we have on here. Is there anything else somebody else can come up with? So now I know where the lights go for the elevator.
It's helpful.
And then from the council, I will check with D&K on financing for the next meeting to give us an idea. I would talk to Chuck and Trader to make sure that they're not jumping up and down. I just scanned and sent that Monday on the equipment to get it coming in order to be on that truck. So I just want to make sure.
So with financing, would it only be on the truck portion or
No,
would it be
the
on the
whole
whole thing?
The whole thing.
And then we're gonna sell all the old stuff and
Which you
apply,
probably get 20 to 25,000.
and apply that directly to that payment.
I would think so, you could, but yeah, that would be great, but I get all the above, I do this a lot in my business, so it doesn't scare me as much because you can use a lot of the rolling stock for different things. It rejuvenates and shows your net worth of your town even more than what you have as far as equipment at this point. So business aspect of it, it shows growth and it shows more profitability, but I know it's a payment that you don't have at this point, but I will check that out to make sure, because you can take it out over 60 months, which is 5 years.
Mhm.
And then I'll get back to that. I would assume that would be, you're looking at the, you know, between $2,000 and $3,000 range a month for 60 months.
And ideally pay it off sooner than that, because
And them interest rates, the companies that I would talk to, they don't have interest bearing up front. They're pretty professional, commercial rolling stock financing companies that would do that. So,
yeah, I'd be really curious to see what the rates are, because
Okay.
8% is not much better than somebody with good credit could get today. I would hope that as a municipality, there'd be a little bit more.
yeah, it should be like, 5 or 6.
Yeah.
You're saying, they mentioned to me that I just got done doing $161,000 for 8%.
I mean, especially if we could get that 5 or 6%, if it's only a 36-month term. I mean, that would be a pretty big payment, but, I mean,
I always would reach for it.
8% over 5 years is a lot of money on 240 grand.
$4,800, yeah.
Yeah.
That's 6,200, but if you did 60 months and then you turn around, you paid it off in 48 months, it's the same as if you turn around and began the full, unless they do an interest rate difference, the same interest rate. I've not had any of the loans that I've done rolling stock, there would be a penalty for paying off that.
Right.
So,
Okay.
all right,
Okay,
and then, Scott moved you a little bit too. All right, got a couple things in the end, and so, Mr. Culver, I'll just, right now it's done, but as far as finding the paperwork, it'll be a while.
Yeah, I can call Lansing and see if they can forward me a copy of it, and I can call Leroy Township and confirm with the assessor that they have it on their books that it's switched over.
And I know you spend a lot of time with us, and I do appreciate all your time you spend with us. We have a lot of things going on, so I appreciate that, so make sure you get that into us, and we'll take care of you, so.
Yeah, no problem.
I do appreciate your efforts of being on call and helping us through our,
Yeah, no problem.
that, anybody from the council? Oh, Joshua, go ahead.
Can we look at that?
It's been there.
Yeah, I think the,
Well, the ceiling grid is actually like, is
Yeah, it did.
drooping severely, sorry, Scott.
My
You know a
guess
good
is-
lawyer if it falls?
well, it's right over the lawyers.
That's why he sits there.
Well, this is why I'm gonna permanently be over here
I
now.
bought that panel
You never noticed that?
a few months ago, and the AC unit is there, and I think the condenser line is clogged. Because you can see a PVC line that's just dripping, that's part of the HVAC, so I don't know if that's gotta be snaked or.
Is that out back? Is that out?
It's gotta go
It's right
outside
up there.
somewhere.
Yeah, but where's the drain go? Out?
Well, I couldn't tell, I just popped that one cover.
Oh, so you went up there with the ladder?
Yeah, I was fixing that light flat fell and I put it up, and at the same time I went over there and looked and went, oh, it's, the AC line is dripping.
So it's clogged, it probably
Probably, yeah.
needs to be cleaned
I
out.
just happened to notice that, and I was like, I have to look at it.
There's a guy out of
You
Mason
stand
that
over there all that.
fixes our
time,
furnaces.
No, I never saw it. I was like, that's drooping pretty
Those
bad.
bugged me.
Huh?
It's been there for years, that stain.
Well, not staying, like I said, if you look at it, you see the
Yeah,
belly.
it's a dip.
It's a huge belly in there.
The supporting wire, I'm guessing, let
Probably
loose,
snapped.
because they only
Yeah.
put about 2 twists on
Yeah, they're not.
Is that something you can look at, Ryan?
them. Yeah. I will,
No, but I mean, you got it on your plate, can we call the furnace guy to make sure his water's draining correctly, or?
I think we'll look at it first, because if it's something as simple, normally it's like a 1-inch drain line almost condensates,
Yeah.
you know, mud,
Be
something
careful
gets
on
in
the
it.
lane.
It's, yeah,
So,
like accumulated sludge and you
yeah,
just
you
suck
know,
it
we'll
out.
look at it, make a determination if we need to call somebody in or not.
Okay.
I think that would be,
Well, we got I know their last name is McKenna, they're out of Mason, and no relation to the McKennas. That way.
so I think we should look at it first, just so
Okay.
we know, we'll assess.
And
the
then you're
situation.
gonna clean out underneath the elevator and put them lights in there?
Lights,
Do the
yeah.
telephone, okay.
Amongst other stuff we have.
Well, the maintenance contract should cover the pit,
No.
shouldn't it? It
The
doesn't?
elevator guy's gonna come back and vacuum up the pit.
Oh, does it come
I was gonna say, I
Oh,
think,
you're just gonna vacuum it?
yeah.
Okay,
We have a shop vac too though, right? No?
well, if it's gonna be up to us, I need to order a filter for the shop vac, because right now it doesn't have a filter, so if you use it, it fills everything with dust.
Cause they got that 7-gallon tank or whatever, is that the big one?
I think it's 7, I'd have to check.
I have an extra filter at my shop, I ordered.
I keep forgetting to grab one every time I'm at the hardware in Fowlerville, because I looked and they have it over there, but shop vac's just,
Is the one you push on that plugs?
Yep.
I got one.
so, we'll check into it.
Okay.
I keep telling I need to get one from Max, because
Did you get extra lock keys?
not yet. I was gonna, because we created a new Amazon account, I do believe.
Yeah, I'm sending that stuff.
Because I was just gonna, I found them on Amazon far cheaper than Home Depot for the same master lock model number. So, that was gonna go that route.
Okay. Well, do we have adjournment?
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Second by Lana, all in favor say
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. We are finished at 7.